Have you ever considered that governments and institutions want you dumb? Has that ever dawned on you? Have you ever thought of the UFO cover-up with this framing? Because it is such an affront to decency, intellectual honesty, and human dignity. Allow me to explain. If I am correct that there has been a multi-decade cover-up, it's not just that institutions that we should trust are lying to us. It's not that simple. It's much deeper than that. It's also that they want us dumb, dim, and they want to diminish our powers of critical thinking. And I can't think of a good rebuttal to this. Allow me to go on further. What does the cover-up amount to? It amounts to persuasion. And it amounts to a war of ideas. Governments have created an environment where, if I'm correct that there is a non-human intelligence, and I believe, based upon evidence, that I am correct, they have created a scenario where something as extraordinary and tectonically profound as non-humans among us, they've created a scenario where that exists, and yet they want us to believe that it does not exist. So whatever evidence these phenomena are leaving behind, whatever evidence governments are leaving behind based upon the concealment process the governments are executing, including their stigmatization of the topic, including their overt lies of omission, their sleight of hand, their constant effort to keep this issue below the level of seriousness. I mean, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? They've literally committed themselves to keep this issue below the level of seriousness, but not in truth, only in perception. Because the phenomenon is here, it can never go below the level of seriousness because it's a real scientific truth. So they have used deception and persuasion to condition us to laugh at the topic and to be concerned and afraid of looking stupid by giving the topic credence. They have used hypnosis. And I can't think of a good counter argument to that idea. If there truly is a cover-up, and if we're truly being lied to, which makes the proposition of skeptics so silly to me. It's like, yo, if skeptics are right, brother, awesome. You got it right. But if you're wrong, you can't tell me. I don't know. Let me put it this way. If skeptics end up wrong, I don't know how they would formulate a persuasive or convincing argument that governments did not go out of their way to make us deficient or less optimal critical thinkers. So the cover-up is not just about lies. It's about dumbing us down. Because whether the government is lying or telling the truth, the evidence is there. It has to be. Non-human intelligences leave traces behind if they're here. Governments leave traces behind of the concealment process if they are concealing the presence of non-human intelligences and recovered craft and studying the phenomena as a whole. So what is the unavoidable conclusion when we passage into a post-disclosure world, which I believe that we will, although I'm open to being wrong, but I call it like I see it, baby, all day long. The unavoidable conclusion is that it wasn't just governments and institutions lying to us. It was an intentional effort to make us worse critical thinkers, to persuade us to believe the narrative that they wanted us to believe. And that is an absolute affront to our dignity and our humanity.
Well, if it was just technology that we are worried about protecting and maintaining a military advantage, there's strong arguments to be made and have successfully been made for decades in this country that the American leadership and American people seem to be finding acceptable to be left in the dark about where science, technology, and their military is taking them. This isn't just technology. This isn't something somebody came up with in a lab and it's sensitive because once the cat's out of the bag, anybody can do it. Fundamentally, this comes from and is secondary to what we've been told is the biggest question, which is humanity alone? The answer is no. And the secrecy that has been defended is at the cost of, in my mind, human dignity, freedom, and progress. And it is no longer permissible or acceptable in my mind to continue this course, to deprive another generation of not just Americans, but humanity of their birthright to know who they are, where they came from, and what's with us.
That is a profound sentiment by UFO whistleblower Matthew Brown, furthering the topic that we were discussing. I want to zero in on a component of that segment. He stated, fundamentally, this comes from and is secondary to what we've been told is the biggest question, which is humanity alone? The answer is no. And the secrecy that has been defended is at the cost of, in my mind, human dignity, freedom, and progress. It's almost like the US government wanted to lower everyone's IQ, and other institutions too, so that they could maintain the status quo as they saw fit. It is breathtaking in its grandeur. Who would even think that that is an option, let alone going through with it? In a strange way, I find myself almost impressed, but yet my humanity keeps me from going down that depth of darkness. I want to share with you a little passage that I constructed that can help clarify better what it means that the government has made us less thinkers, deficient thinkers. They've dumbed us down. And you should be absolutely horrified by that. Let me go ahead and recite my passage. And I quote, "The UFO cover-up is like hitting a golf ball just a few degrees off. At first, it barely looks off course, but by the time it lands, it's nowhere near the hole. It's in the woods, the sand trap, or sunk in a pond. That's what happens when truth gets nudged off course early. Over time, an entire civilization can end up intellectually stranded." End quote. We've been dumbed down. We have been manipulated on par with the way the phenomenon has manipulated us. You would hope that governments and institutions would have better decorum than the phenomenon. But that hope fails. They were presented with a challenge, non-human intelligences, not knowing their agenda, dealing with crashes and intentional landings, and deciding very foolishly that it was in the best interests of humankind to keep it secret forever. But what may have started out as playing it safe became selfish and demented, maybe even demonic, profoundly misguided if we want to be charitable. And look, I'm not trying to demonize the secret keepers, the gatekeepers, and those going along with the cover-up. I'm trying to bring this discussion into rationality. Because I don't think it does anyone any favors by sugarcoating what has taken place. We can engage this in two ways simultaneously. I refuse to sugarcoat it, but I'm also pro-amnesty. I don't want to see people getting thrown in jail, unless, of course, they've committed murder or something of that magnitude. Then, of course, we need to live in a just society. But I'm not looking for blood. I just want humanity to return to its intellectual potential, which falls under the umbrella of dignity. I feel like our intellectual potential has been diminished because we've been lied to and we've been hypnotized. And when we were standing by that golf ball, attempting to get a hole in one, the world framed by our institutions and government said, no, that's foolish. That's not really what you want. Move the club a little bit to the left, just a little bit. It's kind of close to what you think, just a little bit. That's essentially what has manifested in our civilization over the past 70 plus years. You cannot overstate how far off track we are as a result of being wrong about something so fundamental to reality. It has caused problems we can perceive, and it has caused problems we cannot conceive. And it is a tragedy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I will be a proponent of amnesty and mercy. Absolutely. But I will not be a proponent of sugarcoating this because I'm not willing to gaslight myself. That would be gaslighting myself. Oh, wasn't that big deal? You know, the Cold War, they had to lie. Yeah, but why are we still lying? It's 2025. If the governments and institutions want to become part of the solution, they know what to do. If they want to persist as part of the problem, likewise, they know what to do. And I maintain my case that we are dumber than we have to be. We are less skilled critical thinkers than we have to be. We were persuaded and hypnotized to believe there's nothing to see here when there was something to see here. And scientists have been persuaded by this as well. It's tragic. And I just want to see a correction to this. And then I want to move on. And I want to reap the benefits of no longer being lied to and having a clear perception of reality. And I don't think that's going too far. I don't think that's asking too much. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel, you can become a patron, you become a YouTube member, or you could just slap a like on that bad boy, and I'll appreciate it so very much. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Special thanks to all YouTube members, patrons, those that have bought merch, those that have given me a one-time donation. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.